Sleeping with Emmanuel Acho, I've heard that before, multiple times. Recent, as a week or two ago, part of the reason it was suggested that they do a show together was because of these allegations in the lawsuit that they were sleeping together, conspiring to get that to go. Conspiring with Charlie, conspiring with Emmanuel Acho. Let's make this work. What is crazier is how they split apart, do different shows. You can say, well, Skip is fired, which is a part of this lawsuit as well. I mean, this is crazy. That's why I say I'm going to systematically break this thing down. They split apart different shows. Why did they go on different shows, they say? Relationship went sour.
Are you ready?
You know who it is. You know what it is. It's the Sizzle Uncut in the building. I'm G Sizzle.
And I'm Mo Sizzle.
All right, Mo Sizzle. Okay. So, on January 5th, 2025, a former hairstylist. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to say, because I worked very hard to get this right, Nushin Faraji. I got it. Got her name.
I feel like you said it right.
That's right. She filed a lawsuit alleging sexual harassment and misconduct by several Fox Sports employees. Let me say that again. By several Fox Sports employees, including Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, and executive Charlie Dixon. All right? Mm-hmm. So, Faraji said in her complaint that Skip Bayless offered her $1.5 million for sexual favors and made inappropriate physical advances. She also alleges that Dixon groped her at a party and that Taylor dismissed her concerns when she informed her of the incident. Mm-hmm. Now, Joy Taylor went on to be on her show on FS1 called Speak, where she has co-hosts Keyshawn Johnson, Paul Pierce, and Michael Irvin, and they did not address this situation on air.
Right.
Is this something, number one, that should be addressed on air? And is this more common than maybe we even know with women in the workforce?
Well, it's definitely common in the workforce. However, I've been on the other side of that where it's been men hit on by women and given sexual advances towards them. And
yeah, now this is becoming one of my shows, Jack. Okay.
So it is common in the workplace, unfortunately. However, I also think it's the industry as well. So sports, predominantly male industry. You have some females in there. And I think that makes it harder for them in that industry.
Funny enough, I talked to one of my partners earlier, and he was telling me about some of his coworkers, and somehow the topic of oral sex came up.
Okay.
Now, I don't know where it came from. I didn't get a full context, but what I did realize is that women are nasty, and it's not just men. They is
this
nasty.
Conversation was with women?
That's what the woman instigated the conversation.
Okay.
And she said it in front of a man of God, two men of God. One's a pastor.
Oh, wow.
And, because, I was a grown man before I figured out what SWV was talking about. Right. I didn't know. But now that I know, I am delightfully surprised. But that's not the point. The point of the matter is it appropriate? Is it inappropriate? We talk about sleeping to get to the top. Mm-hmm. But is that a strategy? Because what we've heard also is that Joy Taylor said that allegedly in a conversation that she had and something that she was discussing with Miss Faraji was that if Charlie Dixon tried to fire her, she would use then in reverse sexual misconduct allegations as a bartering tool or to keep him at bay.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Okay.
So is this something that we see more common in the workplace, or is this just something that just happens in life daily?
No, it's definitely common in the workplace. I think things have lightened up some since the Me Too movement, since the big movement that happened occurred 4 or 5 years ago. But it's definitely still a part of the actual work environment, which is sad to say. I worked in different industries, and one of the industries I worked in for a number of years we had a lot of sexual harassment claims, people messing with people's spouses on the job, getting another employee pregnant. So some industries actually help build and help prolong that type of behavior. It becomes part of the culture, which is not a good thing. And so it's definitely something that's not foreign to a lot of industries.
Funny enough, there are some states, and I want to say Georgia's one of them, where there's some kind of morality clause or you can't have my man clause, where you can't diddle somebody else's spouse, if I can remember correctly.
And that's when they could say that person helped to end their marriage or cause the marriage to fail. I did hear something about that. I'm not quite familiar with it, but I think it may be Georgia. However, I just think that's a bunch of mess, because the spouse is the person who need to watch what they're doing. A person can't infiltrate your marriage or your relationship if the other person who's in the committed relationship does not allow it to happen.
Well, okay, so maybe it's not a crime, but it can work in divorce proceedings, and you find out that there are some things that are fault-based divorce statutes or grounds for divorce. So, with that said, as a man, how should I look at sexual harassment? Because I will say this, I am pro-sexual harassment for me. Now,
unless it's somebody you don't want to get hit on.
Oh,
Right?
That has happened before. I did have a principal once, and I didn't want to learn her lessons. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't.
So
I didn't.
It is not flattering when it's somebody that you're just not attracted to.
But if it got me an extra hour of pay, I thought about it. I would be like, well, how bad can this be? I've done worse for less.
Or say if it's a man that's hitting on you. So that happens as well. Same sex. People have been hit on by same sex and within the workplace.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
So, but that is just what it is. So to me, if a person is welcoming that behavior, you have to be willing to welcome it from everyone.
Funny enough, we're talking about that. I think that is something that happened in, is it South Holland or Harvey? One of the trustees has done something and sexually assaulted, allegedly, a young lady. Mm-hmm. And it came out, and he's someone that is a community leader.
Yeah.
And you think he's out here in Vegas getting it off or getting it in.
You know what? But it's a lot of people in leadership positions that actually do. They have done this. It's how they operate. And it's not to say that it's a great thing, but it's a lot of people. And I always say this, is it really worth possibly losing your job or career for it to be an employee at your workplace? There's 1,000 other men and women that's not even in your workplace. Why mess up your job or your profession over someone because you just have to have that person?
Well, that's always the question I've asked when it comes to teachers who sleep with students.
Yeah.
And again, I will stand on the fact that there's a double standard. There's a definite double standard. If I, as a male instructor, bother, diddle, fondle, even inappropriately talk to a female student or male student, there are dire consequences. It seems for women who are instructors,
That's not true.
I mean, they go to jail.
That's
Every once in a while. But no. Men, you get cascaded. You are the pariah. You can't come into communities and like, oh, we hate you. You're like, well, what about the seventh grade teacher who was diddling the whole class?
They become what's known as a predator as well. They actually are on the list as well. So it doesn't make it any better. And believe me, women don't have any respect for men or women that choose to go after somebody who is young enough to be their child. Maybe not young enough to be their child, but someone who's quite, younger than them, and they can easily influence. To me, that's not showing a positive behavior. It's not even showing a player behavior. It's not showing that you can go out and get somebody else. Go one level up and go to the local college if you have to mess with somebody younger.
I think it has more to do with the psychology of power versus you just wanting to get your rocks off. Now, I will say this. When I was in high school, I remember there was a young lady who came to speak. I don't know if she was a consultant or she was a college recruiter, but I advocated, and I was really, I was trying to get her to diddle me. Okay. So I tried all my best, and then come to find out some years later, she did diddle one of my classmates. And I felt that I was left out, and I was Me Too'd in reverse. I guess it was you too. You too, you got it. I didn't get it, but you got it. I didn't,
So the classmate who actually went through with that, how did they feel years later? I mean, were they proud about it? And it never,
Actually, no, he was not proud of it. It came out in a conversation because we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And I was saying, hey, that I wanted to get diddled by her. And he was like, yeah, I did it. I said, you did what? And then he told me, I said, you terrible person. You didn't share? You didn't tell anybody? He was like, no, I didn't tell anybody. And then he just stopped talking about it. And I was like, well, maybe he's married now too. And with kids. I don't know how he sees it now. We stopped the conversation.
Yeah.
But I remember then because, listen, there wasn't a bevy of available teachers who you wanted to be diddled by when I was in school.
But you know what? When you become an adult and you think back on it, like when you're younger, it's probably something that's really, you think you're doing a big deal. It's a big deal.
Right.
But when you are an adult and you're thinking back on it, you start thinking that you were actually taken advantage of. And so he could be now looking at it in reverse, that he could have been dealing with his own classmates, somebody his own age, as opposed to this woman who took advantage of his youth and his, maturity. That's not something most people are proud of.
Now, let me ask this. In the workplace, how does this, when you have an allegation, because we were talking about it earlier, how did Joy Taylor get in this if she wasn't a diddler or involved in it?
Yeah.
But you brought up a great point about she was the first, not responder, she was the first person told.
Of management.
Of management.
So in most companies, in their policies, they have a sexual harassment policy. And it states in there to either report it to human resources or a manager if you feel like you've been sexually harassed by another manager or peer. And this person went to a manager, someone who was just about equally equivalent to the gentleman who were trying to sexually harass her. And when she reported, she blew it off as opposed to reporting it. Her mistake was not reporting it. Whether she felt it was valid or not, as a management employee, she should have reported it.
Well, there is a section where when she was told, it's alleged that Joy Taylor said, get out of here. It's nothing.
Right, get over it. Yeah, and so that's the wrong thing to say. It's been numerous times I've had people come and speak to me about having feelings for their boss, feeling like someone sexually harassed them. And whether I believe it or not, the words that would never come out of my mouth is, get over it, or I don't believe it's true. You have to investigate it as if it is true. And then you find out if it's true or not, if there's any validity to it. It can be found inconclusive, but if somebody else comes forward 6 months later, 2 years later, you have that case to go back and look at because it was inconclusive, but someone reported it. So that is just one of those things where that was her mistake, blowing it off, not knowing or thinking this woman was going to move forward with the actual harassment claim.
Well, here's the claim. The claim against Charlie Dixon and Skip Bayless is based off of alleged sexual misconduct. And I'm saying alleged because we don't know for sure and we won't know. But the question is there any nookie on this planet that's worth $1.5 million? Just what? You know, I don't know Emmanuel Acho. I know he was a linebacker in the league, and I know he has an Emmy for broadcasting.
Was that Acho or Bayless?
No. Acho was the one giving her the Acho. That B's Joy Taylor.
Okay.
So he didn't have to pay the 1.5.
Okay.
But supposedly, allegedly, Skip Bayless said, "Hey, you done knocked them off, so why don't you come over here and give white chocolate a try?"
Right. $1.5 million is a lot of money for something that you don't quite know if you're really going to like.
Hey, I mean, you got to be dedicated to it. Now, okay, I'm thinking there's a list. Probably like Sheila E., Vanity, Phyllis Hyman in her prime. I'm just thinking about a list of people I could say, okay, I could get 1.5 million together, and here is my offering.
Okay. And you will be found one time with that person for 1.5 million.
I don't like how you just made me feel. Can we do this like as a year-long, this is in payments or?
Well, we don't know what it was
payment
offered
plan
to her. Yeah. We don't know what was offered to her for 1.5 million. If it was a one-time thing or if he had a schedule of events, we meet up once a week, once a month. We don't know. But 1.5 million for one person that you still don't know if you all are even sexually compatible. You can get with somebody, think they're fine as I don't know what, and then get together and you're not sexually compatible.
So, what do you say now as the wife? Skip Bayless is married. In fact, he talks about Ernestine all the time. You have to give her $2.5 million to stay.
That. Right, to stay. Because if she's leaving, she's probably going to walk away with more than that. Can you imagine the embarrassment, though, that, okay, it's one thing for your spouse to go out and try to get it from someone else or cheat with someone else. But they offered someone $1.5 million like a desperate dog. That's what I'm going to call it. And willing to give away your household income for that person. That sounds really desperate.
Well, for a man who dated someone for over a decade and got married in 2016, actually she wrote a book entitled Balls: How to Keep Your Relationship Alive When You Live with a Sports-Obsessed Guy. And now I'm wondering if she's going to write a follow-up book. No balls. I took them and threw them out the window. Because now, this is going to be a great tell-all book.
But think about this. Some women are okay with it. I mean, they know or feel it comes with the territory. Just like dealing with the athlete. They feel that it is one of those things where, well, it comes with the territory. I'm married to him. We're married long term. And I'm going to have to deal with the infidelity. Some people are okay with that. However, I don't know how people are okay with something that's so public and embarrassing. To me, that's a bit different.
It's a little bit different, but again, I'm still in my research mode where I'm trying to find one night, 1.5 million. I don't even think that's how much was offered in the indecent proposal. I don't know if it was 1.5. Now, at that time, I thought
I don't think it was 1.5 back then too.
I would have given Demi more 1.5 million. Yeah, probably. I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, but 1.5 million probably is just a drop in the bucket for him. It's probably nothing.
Yeah.
The average Joe can't pay 1.5 million.
Yeah,
So what are
nobody.
they going to offer?
Nobody I know named Joe except Joe Jackson could offer that.
So what can they offer someone?
One of the greatest times of your life is like Ice Cube. So I can do it. I put my back into it. That's all you gonna get. Just how many hours of this you need? I got you.
No,
because I can't get you 1.5 million. I'm just saying, at some point, the question is this something we see on a regular basis? And is it acceptable in the movement, in that progression for advancement? Because this isn't the first time we've heard about it.
no.
In fact, we've heard several, especially when it comes to melanated women. You hear a lot of them, they slept their way to the top. It was something that was talked about through the whole election.
That's true. And I thought it was getting better. And it may have, but it seems to still be in existence. Like this example. But I think with the Me Too movement, a lot of people slowed up on approaching people in the workplace, their employees, things like that. And we were talking about an article where the doctor was walking through the doctor's office naked, rubbing up against his nurses and so forth. I mean, so to me, there is still there's still people out here who feel that doesn't apply to them. They can get by with it. That they have this narcissist attitude that I can do whatever I want because I have the money to do it. And those are the ones who just don't seem to take these things seriously.
Well, I take it seriously. I take it very seriously. And here's the counter to that is thinking your daughter, your sister, even your mother. You wouldn't want anyone that you love being harassed,
Right.
sexually harassed.
Exactly.
And so my thought is, I'm sexy. I have to give you 1.5. I'm not giving you 1.5 million. No. No, I could buy a whole harem for 1.5 million. Yes, I could buy a whole Hooters for 1.5 million.
That's true.
And get wings and ladies in shorts the whole time.
And maybe it was because she kept saying no, and some people are so intrigued and get wrapped up in a person who's telling them no, that they have to get that person, that's where that 1.5 million came in at.
Well, I've been told no a lot of times. Like, no, you can't substitute wings for legs and thighs. No, you can't get an extra side of peach cobbler.
Right.
But I've
Order
never seen.
as is.
No, see, that's what. How is it that you have a special and then you tell me I can't order it like I want it because now I have to order it the way you said it? I don't want 4 wings in my box. I'm sorry, I digress.
Yeah, because I was about to say wings are the best. I don't like any other cuts anyway. So
What
I
kind
do a
of...
breast. I'll do a breast service, but nothing else.
That is un-American, ma'am.
No, it's not.
That is very un-American. That is highly unacceptable.
White meat, please. That's the only thing I like is my chicken white. But yes.
That's a whole new episode. That's a YouTube hashtag YouTube. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no. But I think that just going back to this is really unfortunate. And this, unfortunately, Joy Taylor may have messed up her career.
You think?
I'm not going to say her career, but if this organization who she works for, the Sports Network, has to come out of so much money, and she knew what was going on and didn't report it, she may lose her job there, but she may get picked up somewhere else.
It's Fox. It's no. I mean, Now, did her husband leave her? Yes, because he found out she was diddling, supposedly. But, yeah, it's Joy Taylor. I've seen her, and...
her husband left her because she was messing around?
Yeah, she got divorced. I mean, but, hey, Can your husband get you your own show? I don't think so. But
that should not be what it's based off of. Your husband is your husband. So more than likely, she was not in this position when they got married. So it shouldn't be based on what the person could provide for you.
I mean, but she's been in sports a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Long time. She was born January 17th, 1987. She has been around. She's also the younger sister, if you don't remember, and for those of our fans who don't know, she's Jason Taylor's younger sister, Pro Bowl Hall of Famer now. He used to play with the Dolphins, now commentating. So, yeah, Joy has been around the block a couple of times.
It's going to be interesting to see what some others say because they're saying that Shannon Sharp has come out with a statement about it. And so it'll be interesting to see some of these others say that have been named.
Well, we know how Shannon gets down. Go ahead, Unc. We that's how I knew it was real. See, you can fool me, a lot of people, but when you get a certain age and you get that, then you're like, oh, he put that effort into it.
You still think that's real?
Do I think it was real? I don't know who Shelly is, but I know she got that whole Unc.
I don't believe that was real.
You don't believe it was real?
No, I do not.
Oh, shit.
I believe it was all just a bit, something to get his name out there. Mm-hmm. First of all, a guy may say a person's name every so often, but they're not constantly saying it. And you'll be saying a lot of other stuff that he wasn't saying.
Well, maybe if he paid 1.5 for it, I'm going to keep saying allegedly.
But supposedly he didn't pay 1.5 million.
Yeah.
It was an accident. We all know what you have to do to go live.
It was an accident that I set it up, hold it there, put the phone right here, hold it right there. Is that the best microphone space for it?
Turn out the
Make
light.
sure, yes. And then go to work. Sound like two old horses
Let me say this.
in a barn.
Did it sound like that compared to the Diddy and
God, no.
What's the guy's name?
No, that Meek Mill supposedly Diddy.
But that's what Shannon Sharp's video should have sounded like too, though.
Oh, God.
And it didn't sound like that. So that's what I mean.
Let me tell you something. Nothing sounds like that. And if I ever hear anything else that sounds like that, if Shannon Sharp is out there doing that to women, men or anybody, oh my Atlanta, that was, oh gosh. Oh, how do you get up for work again in the morning? Like, I need to go. How do you tell them at the hospital that I've been diddled by Shannon Sharp?
No, but I'm saying even the conversation that Meek and Diddy was supposedly having, you would expect Shannon to be saying that to the woman he was with, not the whole, Michelle.
My Shelly.
So I don't believe it was a...
Well, I believe it because I know what it takes when you get the wind up. You get the... And then, you put it in and you put it down and you put it round.
Oh, my goodness.
Disco lady. He did the whole shenanigans in there. That was uncalled. That was unsightly.
Yes.
Well, okay. So now everybody knows. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is up to you to vote on not only is it acceptable, is it unacceptable, or is Shannon Sharp doing too much? I know we bringing it back up, but I think Shannon was putting in that work, and he got his muscles and put it into it. And he was, I could just see it in my head. I don't want to see it in my head. No, oh God. Just,
right.
Can you imagine going into the office like, hey man, how you doing? Okay, Shannon, okay.
Yeah, I think that it's for him to have his own show already, a podcast. He knows what it takes to go live on
very
something.
Successful podcast.
So, exactly. So to me, you just can't make a mistake like that.
Well, you can if you want to get that.
Somebody had to be messing with the phone in the first place. That's what I mean.
Yeah, maybe she was playing on the phone and hit the wrong button, and I'm not gonna keep doing this. But listen, leave your commentation. Commentation, I like that. That's a new word.
I
like
see that is a new word. I was like, okay.
Leave your commentation down in the section where you can leave your comments, thoughts, and ideas, and then we can have this discussion in the chat. I always love saying that. You can have the discussion in the chat. I think it's chatful, and I think that somebody's going to be in a lot of trouble. I think 1.5 is going to be a lot lighter than this is going to be a 10.5.
They're going to pay a lot more with the legal fees than what they're going to end up paying her.
Well, I'm G Sizzle.
And I'm Mo Sizzle.
And you're listening to The Sizzle Uncut.